Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here, back for Daily D&T. Not doing so hot in this league. We lost to Merfolk, the worst deck in all of Legacy, so can only go up from here. So this hand's super awkward. We have a Lotus Petal. We have a bunch of lands that don't really do anything. We have like a 3-drop as our first play. I'm going to go ahead and ship this one when I'm on the play and trying to find something better. And we found it. The question then becomes, are we keeping Swords to Plowshares or Flicker Wisp? I think I'm going to ship Swords to Plowshares with this hand. The reason being that I have a very strong 1-2-3 curve off of Vial, and I'm hoping to wasteland my opponent. My Swords to Plowshares may become uncastable relatively quickly if I'm wastelanding plus putting my Thalia in. Well, that probably gets life from the loam. Maybe it got that and they already have Grove. Or maybe it did get life from the loam and that's in their hand. Regardless, the plan of try to wasteland them into oblivion and like hide behind my Vial definitely gets worse. I think I'm going to hope that my Thalia takes them off of the mana they need to do whatever it is they want to do this turn. Alright, so they have Grove, Punishing Fire. And they had the other land for Thalia. That's rough. So we're somewhat insulated from Punishing Fire, but not really. I'm going to wasteland them off of this Grove and really hope that they don't have Life from the Loam in their hand as well. But we're going to put more power in play before we do that, because this is basically free to do. No cheeky mom attack. Go to our end step. Get our wasteland back. Why did I not get priority in my end step? That's really tilting. Now if they have crop rotation, I get super blown out here. And I'm 100% sure that I hit 1. So I don't know why I didn't get priority. Alright, so they did have Life from the Loam in all of that. Field of the Dead. That's new. We're going to put this on 3. We're hoping for a Sanctum Prelate on 2 is the way to turn the corner in this game. Yeah. Eh. So I'd say I'm at about 10% chance to actually win this game right now. Let's make it 5%. Sylvan Library, Life from the Loam, Grove, Punishing Fire. I basically need to aggro out my opponent within the next 3 or 4 turns, or I probably don't have any shot at taking down this game. Bog me for value. Bog me for value. So my opponent is going to begin to get zombies with their, what is it, Field of the Dead? Almost immediately. Are these black? I hope they're black. Yep. That is not the draw I needed. So my opponent didn't port me. Alright. I don't know what exactly they were planning by not just porting me in my upkeep. They presumably had a reason. Maybe they just didn't want me to have access to the Caracas during their turn because they have Dark Depths pieces or something. I'm not 100% sure. So is this 7, right? Yep, 7 or more lands with different names. Yeah, there we go. Like, I don't care about those for Mirran Crusader and Flicker Wisp reasons, but, like, for my own life total reasons, I do care about those. And this is where this is probably going to fall apart. So they return the Punishing Fire. They cast it. They kill my mom. They return it. Well, actually, they might get my Flicker Wisp first, and then they get the mom on their turn. I'm going to play this out. My opponent will probably just like tap it down, so I can't use it to tap down one of their groves. Yep. So my opponent takes both my creatures off the board this turn. And then what am I hoping to top deck? Basically Recruiter. And now they have like Wasteland Life from the Loam as well. So is my opponent even playing Dark Depths, or is just like this Lake of the Dead going to be their win condition? Alright. I think I'm basically on 0% chance to win the game. I'm going to keep playing for information here. Like, see what I can get from my opponent's deck list. Am I getting the Batter Skull and trying to hold the ground? They just go Grove. They just go Punishing Fire, Grove, Punishing Fire, and that doesn't really work. I think it's better to put my Sword of Fire and Ice in play and just pray that I can get something equipped at some point that lives. Like, say, a Tomic when my opponent doesn't have double Grove available to them. But I think most of my paths to victory... Okay, so my opponent is still playing the Depths combo. Most of my paths to victory here, I think, just involve my opponent getting hit by a meteor. So, for example, I think if my opponent just, like, wastelands me, loam, wastelands me, ports me, I am just a goner. Alternatively, they can just, like, Thespian Stage, Field of the Dead, herp. That's probably good enough, too. So now, it's 4, 5, 6 zombies. So 12 damage plus Groves will just kill me next turn, plus a fetch available for more zombies. Okay. Okay. I don't think this is enough. But since my opponent didn't respond by punishing firing me, there is at least some hope. Like, it involves my opponent not using their Thespian Stage and also not using their fetch land, but... yeah. So if my opponent... oh, no fetch from my opponent. Are they out of fetchables? Do they only have 3 fetchables? Or no, 4 fetchables with the Sheltering Thicket. So I still don't know how I get through that many zombies. Or that many zombies. Or that many zombies. Yeah, seems like my opponent has 4 fetchables. So we're not Flicker Wisping our way out of this. Can't get, like, protection with haste or anything. I think my opponent played this one a little sloppy. Like, they could have wastelanded me plus ported me to constrain me off of more mana. But then again, I made that mistake with a misclick or whatever it was that caused me to not get to wasteland that Grove at the end step. So, whatever. Alright, as always, Rest in Peace and Surgical are going to be good in this matchup. Pithing Needle is going to be good. Can consider things like Leonin Relic, Well Order, Council Judgment, and even Chalice of the Void on 2. I've never particularly liked Cataclysm against lands. I just think it's a losing proposition since they tend to rebuild more quickly than you do. Let's figure out what I don't like in the matchup. Crusaders are kind of medium in that they just die to Punishing Fire. Revokers are kind of medium in that they stop the mocks, but people aren't playing as many things like Molten Vortex as they used to. So this card has gotten a little bit worse in the matchup. I need to keep some amount of this stuff around for Merit Lodge and Tireless Tracker, but maybe it should not be Swords to Plowshares. Maybe it should just be Path to Exile and not give them the life, with the plan of aggroing them down. So if I cut my Swords to Plowshares in these, that actually puts me at 59, so I can leave in 1 Revoker or Crusader, or leave in another Swords to Plowshares or 2, or board in Relic Warder. 21 creatures. 21 creatures is fine for a post-sideboard game. Let's just leave in one thing that turns sideways. I would like to play first. Snapkeep. Great hand is great. We're going to lead on Vile and just kind of hope that we don't get wastelanded here. Opponent apparently has a bit of a tricky turn over there. Every time. In terms of tempo, it does not make sense to wasteland into Ether Vial. But here we are. That's the sort of game it's going to be, huh? Alright. In before they have Tabernacle and just absolutely clean house. I don't think I just want to like slam this Pithing Needle out because it's so easy to name wrong. And unless my opponent has something like a Rashadan Port that's restricting my basic mana, I'd rather have the flexibility of like being able to put this on something like Wrenn and 6 or also on a combo piece. Now, I've taxed myself out of my own spells currently, but I think that's fine. Sure. Tabernacle. Of course. So we're going to go always no to both of these vials at this point. No. We can just let Mom die. Go always no to that. And yes, we'll pay for that. Super curious about why my opponent kept their hand, by the way. It does not seem like they have a strong opener versus D&T. Oh, that's very good. Yeah, I think I can just like let them proceed into their turn and then put this in at the end step. Actually, maybe I won't even put this in yet, and I'll just keep this to respond to this, because otherwise I'm just going to lose it to Tabernacle. Alright, super happy to see that. So let's tap this. Yes. Put in Tomic. Make it so their Thespian stage isn't going and doing anything. Play my Wasteland. Go to combat. We'll let them go to their turn. So I care about them having like Life from the Loam or Crop Rotation. Otherwise, I don't care very much for the things that they have. That's an annoyance. So do I want to Wasteland the Tabernacle becomes the next question. I can just like pay for my stuff, but then that starts to get into weird territory if my opponent starts interacting with me. I think freeing up my mana is important. Let's see if you crop rotation me. You don't crop rotation me, which is nice. And I have less clicking to do in my upkeep, which is also good. Hoping to draw a land so that I can Pithing Needle. You can't port me. You can't copy your own stuff. Oh, great. I'm not dumb, right? Like, this still works. Okay. But if my opponent doesn't know that, and I just get a billion free attacks with these creatures, that is so good for me. Nope, they just missed it last turn. This is gonna be like the saddest D&T win if I just like keep turning these creatures sideways until everything dies. So does my opponent have the Punishing Fire? It sounds like they have Punishing Fire. Alright, land. Alright, I can at least stop the Maze Abyss. That's something. But let's think through other lines. I can stop the Maze Abyss. My opponent can kill Thalia. Well, okay, so if I stop the Maze Abyss, then Tomic will live through Punishing Fires. So I can Maze, or I can Needle Maze, attack for 4, put my opponent to 4. My opponent has another red source, they can Punishing Fire my Thalia, and then hopefully I can just get 2 more hits with Tomic. Alright, so we'll name Mazavith there. So maybe we're getting there despite some inconveniences. We are representing lethal. Oh, my opponent had a second Punishing Fire. I see. I was wondering how they cast that. This seems pretty great. So we'll scoop all those Punishing Fires out of there. We'll shut off the Tabernacle from coming back. Alright, you get one Punishing Fire back. Which is admittedly annoying. Not for Tomek. They have to answer Tomek in some other way, like with, say, Caracas. Oh, geez, do they really just have 3 Punishing Fires? They really just had 3 Punishing Fires. And now they have Dark Depth Stage. Cool. Cool. At least I have Path to Exile for that. Yeah, this Stoneforge Mystic just attacks for 1 here, and then I just Path to Exile my opponent's Merit Lodge if they make it as a blocker. So 2 and tap, make Merit Lodge, and port me, so I need to not play my Aether Vial in order to not take 20. But maybe it's fine to just take 20. I know that's really weird to say, but I'm at 25. 3 of my opponent's Punishing Fires are in exile, and there's a Rest in Peace as well. I have the Merit Lodge covered. And in fact, I could probably just like play another Stoneforge Mystic just as another body. And be fine with taking the 25. Yeah, let's do that. If they fling a Merit Lodge at my face, I deserve this. Non-basic lands have costs. Yeah. Unfortunately, we still have to do that again. So when I'm on the draw, do I want more Swords to Plowshares? The answer is very possibly, but I do need to respect my threat density. So for example, maybe I'd be willing to board out my Jitte and in a Swords to Plowshares. Because I care more about pro-red or a clock than I do the little nuances of Jete, especially if I'm going to trim a Crusader or two. It's board like that. Yikes. So this is a hand that has real problems, but Aether Vial is a hell of a drug. We're going to be keeping this. It's just not optimal. I was about to say not every hand can be a Life from the Loam hand, and we're going to hope that they don't have access to that with this hand. But that was presumably what they got. Yep. All right. There comes a time in every man's life where he decides, how do I win this game? And I think the answer is wasteland my opponent, despite the fact that they have Life from the Loam. I think I just go wasteland them, put in Mother of Runes, end of turn, put in Thalia, followed by put in Recruiter, and hope that this presents me a line to victory. They have dredged the Life from the Loam back. Don't Mox Diamond me, bro. Okay. Ability, yes. Put in Thalia, so my opponent cannot crop rotation me. Sacrifice, blow that up. And we're 100% turning Mom sideways here. Alright. This is the point where I see if I have actually wastelanded my opponent off of real mana sources. That's not 100% a yes. But it's a good sign for me. %, willing to play out Rashadenport there. Tradesies. Tradesies is fine. Don't really know why you go about doing that now. There's a Thalia in play. So I don't actually think you're casting something. I still don't think you're casting something. So it appears that my opponent probably has, like, Force of Virtue. Or Force of whatever the green one's called. So I'll be getting a Flicker Wisp here to play around that and protect my Aether Vial. Whereas normally I might go and just get a Palace Jailer, or alternatively a Sanctum Prelate to just kind of go and try to end the game. Now, would you like to try to? No, you would not like to try to. So in the second main phase, I will go ahead and Flicker Wisp. Yes, Flicker Wisp, target my recruiter. Move to the end step, do the whole Flicker Wisp dance again. That was exactly the one card I did not want them to have access to. But they really should have waited until after I searched. So what is best in the face of that? Probably just a Flicker Wisp. If they don't have Force of Virtue, the answer is probably Palace Jailer, actually. It kind of seems like they were representing it, though. And I played around it, but maybe it was just this crop rotation and they kept forgetting about Thalia. That's unclear. But, okay, no. It's totally safe to get the Palace Jailer. Alright. So I need to stack this so my Vial is going to go and resolve before my Thalia is gone. That's important. Use this ability, yes. Tap that. Yes. Put in Palace Jailer, become the pretty princess. And I get to keep one of these. It actually may be that I want to keep my Thalia, now that I've thought about it. Nope, we'll junk that. Nope, we'll junk that. No, we'll junk that. No, we'll junk that. Yes, we'll keep this. Strong. I really wish I could blow up this land instead, but you know, it can only be so good. So this Vial is like basically worthless now. And I think if my opponent had the ability to port me, they should have ported me before now. That's actually a great draw on a number of different levels. It's going to stop like initial Merit Lodge hitting me. It's going to be able to protect my Thalia from a punishing fire, which is super relevant. Again, really think my opponent should be porting me in the upkeep. Alright, so you have Maze of Ith. Soak up a little bit of damage. That's okay. So I misplayed there. I should have played out Caracas to protect my Thalia, but I started thinking about the Merit Lodge and just like stayed in the mindset of, oh, I need to keep this card around. So my opponent goes to 1 here. This shuts off fetch lands, which is a pretty big deal. So that's a very good card for the future. That's not a red mana. Tireless Tracker, sure. So we can Path to Exile that, and then we have lethal through Maze of Ith. Alright, so overall in that league, we did not have an impressive finish. We just went 2-3, right? But I think the deck list is good. We just played against some odd decks there. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that was Rug Delver. That's a deck I'm expecting to face, and then 4 decks I'm not expecting to face: Burn, Painter, Merfolk, and Lands. We beat Rug Delver and Lands, which are the most popular decks of those. And all of our matches this time were 2-1s or 1-2s. I'm not sure what that says as a statement, but it's something to keep in mind in terms of tracking data. I would run back this list again without making any changes. I'm pretty happy with this. And folks, if you're enjoying Daily D&T, please consider supporting it. Next week's Daily D&T will be brought to you by Dr. Bill, once again, who bought me lunch even though I was trying to buy him lunch. You know, that sort of thing happens sometimes. All right, folks, I'll see you again next week.